Welcome back, guys. Today we got something really special. This is my friend John's watch. John bought this on eBay. It apparently is a watch that his father has the same model of. The problem is it doesn't work that well. You know, this is the issue with a lot of eBay pieces. Um, yeah, they need a lot of work. They all look all cool to buy until you kind of get them in your hand. So today we're going to take a look at, the major problems with this watch and see if we can't get it back to John so he can really enjoy the same model that his dad wore when he was a kid. And so first thing you'll notice is obviously this one was really well worn. Even the bracelet's a little bit damaged. And just to protect the odd-sized crystal, or shaped crystal rather, put a little extra felt on the bottom over there. A little hard to open this one. A little crusty inside. And the first problem is right on the top. This rotor totally kind of stuck in place. Okay, and it seems like the watch is working. That's just because I wound it by myself. But this rotor should free spin. That's how the automatic part of the watch works. And it doesn't. So we're just going to take the crown out over here. And, this is what me and John do now, because I like to work on watches. I legitimately enjoy it. He feels a little bit more confidence, as do I, to explore the nice models at a reasonable cost on eBay. And they all have problems, trust me. Everything on eBay that's priced really, really well is usually done so for a reason. But nothing we can't fix in most situations. The case clamps on this, I noticed, were a little bit rusted, and as you could tell by the dial, obviously this has seen some moisture in its life. I think the interesting part about how this one turned out, that dial actually looks fantastic just the way it is. All right, so now we're just trying to get the dial separated from the rest of the movement. These two clips make it possible to do so. And there you go. The movement wants to take itself apart, obviously. Here's the date disc coming out. And John also said that there was a possible problem with the date and day turning over at the right time. Didn't seem like anything was connected to that date mover. One of the things I noticed about this particular movement, there's a lot going on the top. This right here, this little piece with this metal bracket, this little transmission gear actually slides on the top and the bottom. And it took me some time when I was putting back to this dial side back together to figure that out. All right, so we're going to remove the date disc now. And we have to be really careful with the spring over here. That's a big one. That'll fly away for sure. And as we continue to disassemble this side, you'll just realize how much small transmission wheels there are. That's very common when you have both the day and the date. Okay, like this part right over here is just part of the day mover. This is a spring that also holds that. But if you're not real good with, realizing where all these parts go when you put it back together, if you're attempting something like this for yourself, it does help to play back your video in reverse. Or in the case of this movement, I actually did see someone else's YouTube video when I was putting it back, just to make sure I had all the parts in the right order. It's pretty easy though to see in general where things go. They really only go in certain spots in most of the transmission wheels. So now we're just moving the keyless works. This spring over here, just watch the magic that happens. I'm not showing all 20 minutes of me trying to get this out without it pinging away, but oh, where'd it go? Isn't that the funniest thing? Thank God, it just jumped over to my computer, which is right next to this recording, so I found it very quickly, but whew. All right, we're taking away the keyless works now, and we've almost got this side completely disassembled. All right, now we're going to attend to this back side over here. We're going to take off this rotor, which obviously has some problems. And we're going to take out the balance. And again, everything looks like, it's working real well, but the Timegrapher will obviously tell you otherwise. This is in dire need of service. And actually, I can't believe that this was running, period. When we do take this apart, you're going to see, just in a short while over here, exactly how dirty this specific movement was. So right here, we're taking away the automatic bridge. This has transmission wheels that, whether the rotor is going to the left or to the right, clockwise or counterclockwise, it is going to charge the watch. You'll see me disassemble that a little bit later. Now we're going to take away the pallet fork. And this is a little bit different to me, from a lot of the other movements I've worked on. The way that the click works on this particular movement. There's a very small spring that's with a sliding click. That's not like held down by a screw like many other clicks actually are. So this one you definitely have to remove in order to clean everything. Sometimes you can get away, in my opinion, and just not remove the click. One less spring to lose in my world. I'm going to take away the parts right on top of the barrel. Now we're going to take away the barrel bridge. And a couple more screws here, and we're actually almost done with this side as well. This is the train bridge, 2 screws. All right, now we have 3 wheels coming out. That is the escape wheel, the third wheel, the second wheel, and yep, that's a stuck barrel arbor. I've actually never seen that where the barrel arbor was stuck so completely in the main plate. I don't even know how this happens, really. I did try a bunch of things. I have a whole staking kit, of course. No stake is going to be that small to just knock the barrel arbor, in my opinion. So you'll see what I ended up going with. I don't think it's the best method, but you'll see how we clean this up in just a second. All right, so we're gonna lock this in. And you can see me hard at work over here. Sorry for the forehead shot. And on really close inspection, I mean, it's just stuck in there. It's just so weird. I don't even think, like, it doesn't even look like anything's holding it in. It's just stuck. So we're hammering down. And boom. I mean, again, that might have not been the best way to do that, but it did work. And I'm just seeing, like, even if you try to put the barrel back in, it doesn't even go in. That's the funniest part. Something's really going on with this. Obviously, we have to smooth this out a little bit, and use a smoothing broach to do so. And this is slightly off camera. There's a whole set of smoothing broaches that you can get. And it's a very, very simple process. You don't want to go too far, otherwise you will have to bring out your staking kit in order to make sure that you haven't made the hole too big. You don't want too much end shake, but this just looks perfect. So we're just checking to see how we did there, and now it's coming in and out, no problem. Again, this is part of the mystery when you buy the eBay watches. You never know what you're going to get, and this type of problem is, again, even that the oh, there's a piece of lint over here. Maybe that's for me, but I don't think so. But even if the watch is quote unquote running, I mean, you just don't know until you open it up. And here we go. You see how dirty these jewels are. Look at this one in the center. Whoa, it's like tar, it's crazy. I haven't seen movement that dirty in a long time. Okay, so it does baffle me why this was even considered a runner, but we'll shape this right up. And this is the train bridge, just inspecting the train bridge. Just dirty on the jewels, nothing crazy, nothing cracked, thank God. I haven't had to deal with that yet, except for another one of John's watches, which you'll see in another time. We're just inspecting the pivots. And I think it's good practice to polish the pivots, especially because of the way that I clean the parts. I just use an ultrasonic, nothing crazy yet. So for me, I think to get the most amplitude, polishing the pivots is the way to go. So right here is the automatic works. And again, this does not help the case of the rotor running. There's over oiling everywhere. I don't know if somebody tried to get that rotor to work. That, this kind of looks like that's what's going on over here. Also, when you see a small X on a part on an eBay watch, like I do on this piece, usually that means that someone's also been in there and they considered some part of it not working. I see an X all the time next to a balance. An X, on the automatic works for me is a first, but I usually see X's on the watches, and I feel like that's a telltale sign that something had to been replaced. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, so we're just quickly polishing the pivots over here. And I know this process is also off camera a lot. Really hard to kind of see what you're doing and also get it on camera. So sorry about that. But instead of sparing you guys looking at a off-camera shot the entire time, and of course this was all off the microscope, I just kind of sped it up for you guys. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the case, and the case is no better than the movement. This is what looks like the remnants of an old gasket or something. Here is the old case gasket itself. Totally deteriorated. And again, instead of sparing you guys, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. But as you can see from the table, there's a lot of gunk. Okay. This is after putting it in ultrasonic. That is, cleaning solution. It's totally black, and I do this a couple times. I don't do this just once. This was just the first time, but wow, it goes on and on. Look at this. A lot of old eBay watches too, the case gaskets, they do gunk up a lot, especially if they're from the 70s and the 60s, and there was no replacement that was done from that time to now. And sometimes that makes the case itself really hard to open from the back, and you just get all what you just saw, all that black gunk all over the place. All right, so obviously nobody's perfect. I should put that other wheel in first before the barrel, but I happened to slip it in. And now we're getting the train of wheels settled. Always on the train of wheels, you want to get the bottom pivot in there, and then you can fiddle with the top. And I'm really sorry for the hair in the way. I did get another loop after this. That's a little bit more working distance. So hopefully that doesn't happen in the future. I noticed there's a lot of that going on in this particular recording. All right, now to fit a lot of train bridges, I know it's pretty tedious and you just gotta keep on, taking one wheel at a time. It really does help to have a microscope and see how things line up. If you do touch the actual wheels like I'm doing over here, I like to grab it from the inside. Although it's not really a good idea to grab the wheels and manhandle them. You could also see me tapping. And in this case, take a look right after the tap. I mean, everything goes in pretty easily. You can get pretty lucky with that. I've shown that in another video. It's really fun when it works out that way, but it's not all the time, sadly. All right, so we're just gonna tighten this down. I did remove the arbor just to give a check. A better way, besides, again, manhandling the train of wheels over here, is if you blow air on the escapement. That's a really good way to see that everything is frictionless. I'm just going to put the barrel bridge back on. And here's the pesky click with the really awkward spring. Very small spring, very prone to land in the rest of the room kind of spring. All right, and there's a sliding movement to this, which I think is super, super cool. It is reverse screw. You can just see it sliding. I mean, that's how the click works. Usually the click is on the barrel, this wheel over here. So it's really refreshing to see the click on the on the winding wheel. And a quick test, just making sure that everything is, of course, still running smoothly before you put the pallet fork back in. All right, now we're going to give it a small wind. And this is, of course, the ultimate test after this. You want to make sure that the pallet fork is going to spring back on its own from left to right. Now we're going to put the balance in. All right, and for me, when the balance doesn't automatically kick up, that's not a crazy bad sign to me, because I just haven't oiled anything, and I also don't put too much of a wind in any of these, just in case I have to deal with a situation. But small blow of air just to make sure that it's in the right position. And I'm really sorry that this is probably going to be off camera, me oiling everything. And just to speed up the process, because it really was off the microscope camera, always using my smallest oiler. You do not want a lot of oil on everything. And over oiling is something we all need to work on, trust me. All right, and now we're doing the balance jewels, the top and the bottom. And you're going to see me put this back in the solution probably twice for the top and twice for the bottom. If you ruin it, that's no problem. You know, I'd rather it be perfect, and I never think to myself, oh gosh, you know, I got to do this again. I think after a while you just get comfortable with these small cap jewels, and just know you'd rather make it perfect before you put it back in. So I do each one twice, I think, over here in this video. Here's the first time, and let's see if I mess up. Yep, I didn't like it too much. Let me just do it again, no problem. And here we are, back on the time graph. Did we get it any better? We did. Right out of oiling, 240, great amplitude. 2 seconds, really good. And by the way, you want it to be about 2 to 3 seconds, a little bit faster. You'd rather gain time than lose time. To be certified COSC spec, I think you know, you have 2 minutes of variance on gain, but if there's a loss of time, that's not good. So interesting fact from a watchmaker friend, an actual certified watchmaker friend, not a watch technician hobbyist like myself. All right, so you're gonna see me do my best with the top over here. I did miss some parts, so this might not be the best video to follow for what to put where on the top. I did miss, I think, one spring, and I had to undo a couple parts and put them back in together. Nobody's perfect. And again, this top side was a little bit of a struggle for me. I had a cheat sheet in the format of another YouTube video to make sure that I was putting everything on the right place. I'm telling you, there's a lot going on up here. And here's the part where I'm removing this plate with this transmission wheel that lays on top and bottom of this plate. I realized that I didn't put in, I believe it was the date wheel spring and click that goes with that. And of course you have to, you know, disassemble more than what you're just trying to get at. And here it is. This little part over here, this fat spring. And this took a lot of fiddling to get that spring back in, but there you go. All right, now once the date is in, this plate is actually the holder, okay? It helps hold down the date. So it's pretty important that you put the ring in first. You could always, when you're removing the date ring, it's a little bit easier. You know, there's not too much, there's that and something else holding it down on the other side. All right, just tightening that down, putting the hour wheel back on, and we're ready for the day disc to go back on. And it probably would have been better to use plastic on that day disc. You definitely don't want to scratch anything. All right, and oh man, super excited this is all coming back together. All right, and those are the two clamps that hold down the dial. Really like that style because there's no losing case screws, or dial screws rather. And we're just here pressing the hour hand on. And if you're looking for one of these Rados, I think John did pretty well, to be honest with you. The biggest thing that I see is the case being really messed up. And John's is just not. I mean, you'll see it in a second here, but the case on his example is really, really nice. And I really appreciate this dial. I like it with the damage to it. We are so close here. We're just taking the crown out. And with the hands on, you want to be super careful. That's why the little leather pad helps out over there. And you don't want to lay it down on the hands too long. All right, and just look at how well John's Rado's case cleaned up. We have a new gasket in there. And here's the original case clamps going back in. I wish we did have replacements for that. I'd like to take care of that rust at some point. And I always put the Molykote DX a little bit late on the crown over here, just because I feel like I'm putting it in and out so much when I'm testing the watch. I don't worry about that too much when I'm just assembling until I'm putting the crown in at the case. All right, so here's the other clamp. All right, now we're just missing a rotor. Here's the rotor. And one thing I noticed was the cleaning machine, which is my ultrasonic, didn't do a really good job on this rotor. So we put this in, and we tested it, and it's still just as stiff as it was before. I'm just taking a look at the bearing on it, and you know, in a situation like this, the best would probably be a replacement. We don't have the luxury of that, you know, but cleaning in one dip really helped. And you're just going to see the difference in a second here. All right, now I'm touching it very lightly, but obviously if you want to really play around with that rotor, you're going to want to do that with a plastic stick or a different stick. And there you go. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for movement where it's just naturally swinging around, and that's before oiling it. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit of, I put HP 1300 on here. And we're ready to case this up. And we got his band all cleaned up. This was just as dirty as everything else. It is not now. Very nicely cleaned. And I shoved the little rolls over there by the head so you minimize scratching or leaving a scratch on the case. And look at this. Fantastic. Beautiful dial, beautiful watch. I'm glad he bought it. It was a lot of work. Would I want to do that one particularly again with the stuck arbor and some other problems? I think it was okay. I think he did well. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. On to the next one.